What is going on, guys? Clash of Queens moderator and your favorite friend, Sexy Guardian. Now, it's been a little while since I've done a video, so I've taken the time out of my day to do something special for a friend that's been looking for some information. This one's for my buddy George. We're going to show you guys how to reset your skills, what your skills should look like for combat, and what active skills you should be using for combat situations. Last time you guys seen me, I was just a plain old moderator. I have actually been promoted. I am now a senior moderator. So I got a lot more work on my hands. Pretty much the reason you guys haven't seen too much from me. But I'm hoping to get back into it, make some more videos for you guys, share some knowledge with you guys, especially with some of the new features that have came out. But this one today is more war-based oriented. 114 is an all-out war, pretty much. We got a lot of alliances attacking each other since the merge. We just merged not even a month ago, so it's been pretty fun. A lot of attacks going on, a lot of big castles getting destroyed. So I mean, and it's pretty fun for me. I'm the type of person I like the war. Some of the other guys don't. Some of the other guys are new to it. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out and show you guys where your skills should be located and what active skills you guys should be using. That's going to help you guys push forward and win some good battles against your enemies. So let's get into it. First of all, we're going to go over the skill section. As you can see for mine, it's all based in the combat area. And as you can see, it's really only based in 2 areas. Well, 3 if you want to consider the infantry. It's really based in just these 3 areas. These are your heavy hitter troops. These are the troops that are going to give you more kills. These are the guys that are going to protect you more. And I'm not a cavalry hater. I promise you, I'm not a cavalry hater. I use cavalry in my marches. But if you want to give that added extra boost to your troops, you want it to be the archers and the mages. Also your infantry. Your infantry take the big hit for you, while your mages and your casters deliver the big hit. The reason why I say not so much the cavalry units attack the infantry units, they're already deadly enough, just because the shieldmen really, they don't take too much of big hits. You just need to know how to use them. I got into that in another video. I'm not going to get into it on this one. So as you can see, this is the way mine's set up. I focus everything on my infantry, and then when it gives you the option to, I start focusing the skill points on the archers and the casters. This is going to give you a boost in their attack and defense until we get to the bottom section, which will give you a boost into their health points. So just scrolling down so you guys can see how it's set up. Like I said, everything gets put into the infantry, and then once I get to the sections for the cavalry, caster, and archers, I put everything into my archers and my casters. This is going to give a big boost into these troops. As we know, archers have critical chance hits. Mages are actually just really heavy hitters. We have the attack bonus for the archers on defense, and then the defensive mage are actually really big hitters as well. So this is the reason why I focused in these areas. You can go back through and focus on your cavalry as soon as you get all your archer and your casters done. You can go back in and start putting skill points on your cavalry. But for now, I'm only Lord level 50. So for now, depending how high of a Lord level you are, focus on the archers and the casters. So that's pretty much it for that. I'm going to show you guys the active skills and which ones you guys should be using. Kind of explain to you a little bit about them and how they're going to work and play into your battles. Go and see. Okay. Now the first level 4 skill. This is going to depend on what you like. You have the bumper harvest. The bumper harvest is actually really good when you're trying to heal troops. Use the help skill. That's going to give you wounded troops instead of dead troops in your first battle. This is going to give you resources to help build that, but you need good research inside your resource income. Your resource income is actually the decider of how much resources you get with the bumper harvest. So if you have good research for your resources, I'd suggest using this. I use the immediate return. It just helps when I'm sitting in somebody's hive. If somebody wants to go to attack me while I got to march out or got a couple marches out. This brings the troops back immediately and lets me get a good defense in. So I would suggest using this one. You guys can use the bumper harvest. Harvest to help heal troops. It works very well. Level 20 skill. I don't use the bloodthirsty or the plunder. I mean, there's really no reason for it unless you're tearing down farms. Level 30 monsters are really easy to kill. Now that we have monster raid, this skill is kind of pointless. Plunder is not really that great. 10% plunder rate for 2 hours. I mean, help you out a little bit if you're tearing down somebody's castle and you're just stealing all their resources. But I mean, in war, it's not really going to help you out too much. So I use this one. I use the Hawkeye. It gives you a level 30 watchtower for 30 minutes. You pop this bad boy up, jump in somebody's hive, and scout everybody out. It's going to tell you what research they have done, what active skills they have, the exact troops that are in their castle, the exact traps that are in their castle, their dragon, and also their P shield times. The P shield times are actually really relevant. Somebody's got like 30 minutes left on their P shield. They find that out with the Hawkeye. You can wait that 30 minutes. Hopefully they don't log on or reset their shield yet, and then you can tear down some big castles that way while they're not paying attention. So I always use Hawkeye. It's only 30 minutes, but the reset is actually short time, so you can use it fairly often. Level 30 skill. Suggestion would be Rapid March or Surrounded by Mud. This one, research speed up. I've never used it. I like to let my research play out. It gives me time to stack up resources. But Rapid March, this is going to give you 100% march time for one march, which means like if you had a 30-minute march and you use this and then send a march out, drop it down to about 15 minutes. So cut your time in half for it. This only works for one army. It only works for one march. So, I mean, it's not really too useful unless you're trying to get somewhere really fast. So I use Surrounded by Mud. What this does is it decreases the enemy's marching time by three times. So that means like if you're sitting right next to him, it'd be like let's say like a minute march. And use this and they go to scout you or they go to attack you, it's gonna make their march like 3 minutes. So this is actually very helpful. It lets you get troops back into your castle, makes them use more speed ups, use more gold trying to get towards you. Ultimately it just makes them use more items and it makes it harder for them to get to you even if they're sitting right next to you. So I always suggest using this one, especially if you're sitting in somebody's hive or you know somebody's about to hit you. You have to use it before somebody sends the march at you. If you use it while somebody's sending the march, it does not work. So I always pop this up. It lasts for 30 minutes. You know, typically you're in somebody's hive for about 30 minutes. So pop this up, jump in somebody's hive. It's gonna decrease their march times by 3 times, which is gonna give you an opportunity to hit some castles, be able to have some good defenses come in, and ultimately nobody's gonna want to march towards you while they got a fucking 15-minute march time towards you, you know. Level 40 skill, fairly simple. First one just let you train more troops. Oh no, oh they changed it. Okay, this one you don't consume resources when you're training troops for 30 minutes. That's actually pretty good if you're like going through a lucky day. It used to be before it increased the amount of training troops that you had, but I guess they switched it on this one. I use the general mobilization. It gives you a 10% march boost. So if you had like 130 march, it'd give you like 145. When I use it, it gives me around 145. So it gives you a 10% boost. If you had 200k march, it'd give you a 20%. It'd give you 20,000 extra troops in your march. It works fairly nice. It works great with the help skill. You can also use the resource protection. I don't find this very useful. I don't keep resources in my castle for people to plunder away from me. So I don't use this skill. I think it's easier to have the 10% march boost. Sometimes you need that little extra boost. Also, the more troops you send at a castle, the more troops that are going to defend that castle. So you can take out a lot more troops, even if it's just fucking an extra 20k troops, 15k troops, whatever. So I use general mobilization. You can also use the resource protection if you have a bunch of resources in your castle that you don't want stolen while you're attacking people. Level 50 skill is really important. This one's just a construction master. Reduces your building speed by 50%. Well, increases your building speed by 50% for 30 minutes. That's not even half. That's not even half the time. So if you had like a 6-day build, it'd probably drop you down, put you at like 4.5 days. It's only a 50%. It's not 100%, so it's not half time. It's only a quarter of the time. So I mean, it's not really. It's useful if you're doing big builds, but in wartime, not useful. This one's skillful workman. Immediately gain 218 traps. Traps don't get a lot of kills, in my opinion. I don't level up my fortress. I don't build traps. They barely get any kills. And there's also a way to bypass traps, so I don't ever use this. The most important one is the help skill. If you guys don't know about this already, the help skill gives your troops immunity when you're going to march. So you pop this skill, send a march out to a castle. Instead of the troops losing, instead of them dying, they'd be wounded and go to your hospital instead. And this goes up to however big your hospitals is. Mine's at 200k right now. I have 130k march. Even with the booster, I could put out about 190k troops, and still, if I use this skill, I'm not losing a single one. This one lets you tear down the first defensive wall. Everybody knows when you hit a castle, the first line that you're gonna hit is the most powerful troops. If you don't want to lose a shit ton of troops trying to hit a castle, you want to use this skill. Take out their first line, heal up, go back in for the second battle. This can be a lot easier to hit them, especially if you're taking out the first line of defense. So you want to use this skill. It's very, very important. I've had a lot of people ask me about this skill. They didn't know about it. This is a skill you want to work. You want to use it. It resets every 7 or 8 hours. I think it's 7. So every couple hours, every 7 hours you can go in, hit a big castle with one of these. I do this every day for my honor points. I use the help skill. I'll go take somebody out real quick, get my 1.3 mil for the day, and then I'll go sit somewhere and relax. It does suck when you use it and you go to hit a big castle that's got like T6 skies, something like that, you know what I mean? They got a level 65 dragon. It does suck when you have to waste a bunch of resources and speed up healing troops, but it is a big lifesaver. You're not losing 180k march because you underestimated the person that you were attacking. Of course, level 60 is the time hourglass. When you get to level 60, definitely get this. It resets all your active skills cooldown. I'm not sure about the cooldown speed on this one. I haven't checked it, but I think it is 24 hours. You can use it every day. But so if you use like the help skill to go attack somebody, took out their first line, and then you had the level 60 hourglass, it reset the help skill again, so you can use it again and go back, take out the second line. It's a really effective way to be able to tear down big castles. People don't expect these things. They're like, oh, I'm a big guy, I can just leave my castle unshielded. Yeah, well, you got about 3 or 4 people using the help skill. The castle ain't gonna be so big anymore. So that's pretty much it. Lore skills are pretty easy. Just gotta focus on what you want for your attack and defense. Focus on the skills that you want to use while you're in battle. So if you guys have any questions towards this, you can leave them down in the comments. You can also find me in the game. Here's my profile. You can find me, Sexy Guardian. Also, I'm in 114. You can come find me. Can't miss the big old green letters. So I hope y'all enjoy your day. George, I hope you got some pretty good information out of this. I'm going to try to do some more videos. If you guys have any suggestions towards anything, you can leave them in the comments. You can hit me up in the game. A lot of you guys have me online, stuff like that. So just let me know. Try to do my best to get the best I can to do one every week. Get back into the flow of things.